Asalamualaikum, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Wherever You're At. I'm coming at you a little ghetto today. I forgot my mic in Pennsylvania, and as you guys know, I'm in Texas now. Just visiting for Ramadan. I do this every year. Alhamdulillah for the funds to travel back home and see my family and my friends. But yeah, I'll be using my phone as a mic. And it's actually not even that bad. So it's been a crazy Ramadan so far. I need to stop saying it like that. I need to stop saying Ramadan because imagine I say it so many times that people think that's how you say it. I've had a crazy Ramadan so far. And every year is crazy just because of how fast and how busy and how important the month is, I feel like. So yeah, it's been kind of crazy, but I haven't recorded an episode for you guys since the Healing Your Relationship with Allah episode, which alhamdulillah a lot of you guys really liked, and I'm so happy that it hit home, I guess, for a lot of you. But yeah, I was like, let me give them another episode. I will say, in all honesty, it's not that I don't feel like talking right now, but I'm really trying to make Ramadan personal to me, if that makes sense. So sharing with the whole world how I feel during this time, it's not counterproductive, but it's not a priority for me. However, because of how many of you have been saying that they've shifted your mindset, my podcasts have helped you shift your mindset or helped you give up music or helped you or motivated you in a way. Someone said something so nice. They said that I make Islam sound doable, I make getting better and getting closer to Allah more doable in their mind. And I relate to that so much because I used to be someone who didn't view it as doable, and I viewed it as something that's going to come later, inshallah, when I'm older, or something that just wasn't attainable for me because of how quote unquote far gone I was. But alhamdulillah, I'm really grateful and happy that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed me with this platform and that you guys are enjoying it. And I really hope, and please make dua, that this podcast and my presence on social media is something that's going to speak for me on the Day of Judgment in a good way, not a bad way, inshallah, ameen. So that being said, gonna come at you with another episode, of course. And I figured, let me do this right before the last 10 days so I can for real lock in. And then I guess we can reconvene after Eid or something, ? Anywho, I hope you guys have been having a delicious and very what's the word? Beneficial? Nah, that's kind of boring. I hope you have been having a transformative Ramadan. And if you haven't, don't worry, we'll get to that, okay? But genuinely, so far this Ramadan, I have been feeling a lot more positive than I usually do, and I think it's because of the tactic that I'm using, or that I've gone into this Ramadan ready to ignore negative thoughts and just shut them up. Anytime I get a thought that's you're not doing enough, you're not doing enough and you're going to hell, I'm ugh. I shut it down so quick because I tend to shut down literally physically whenever I think badly of myself, and it immobilizes me, it paralyzes me from getting better, doing better, all that stuff. So anytime I get those negative thoughts of Ramadan is almost over, you haven't done anything, well, obviously if I'm not doing anything, that's a problem, but I am doing stuff. So those thoughts are actually just mean. And I heard a metaphor about shaitan and how since shaitan is locked up in Ramadan, a lot of people are questioning okay, why am I still doing bad stuff, or why do I still have these thoughts? And the metaphor or analogy, I guess, was about a teacup, and basically shaitan stirring your tea throughout the whole year, and then he lets go during Ramadan because he's locked up and the tea still spins. And so it's kind of alluding to the fact that even though shaitan is not whispering to you, his influence is still there. And so, because I used to be really hard on myself for still freaking sinning in Ramadan, I was damn, I guess it's not his fault, huh? It's really my fault. But he does have influence on us, and may Allah protect us from his influence. So don't be too hard on yourself if that's something that you're struggling with this Ramadan, like feeling like you're still like not doing great, I guess, or still having those thoughts, because those thoughts are not going to go away unless you work on them. So I've been working on them, alhamdulillah, and I feel like it's made me not quit my goals even when I feel like I'm not achieving them, okay? Because we're 2/3 in, right? Don't even get me started. Like, if I actually entertain the thought that the lesson days start tomorrow, I'll probably break down into tears or something, because there's no freaking way. This is by far the fastest Ramadan of my life. I have never felt it go by this fast. And like, I feel like, I don't know, is it because I came like back to Texas like 1/3 of the way in? Like, last time I came only for the last 10 days, and I don't remember it feeling this fast. Is that because I was alone for most of it? It was like going by slower? Or is now the fact that I'm here, it's going by faster because, like, I have no idea. I have no idea, but I'm really, really scared because, like, just the idea that what if I leave Ramadan the same as I was before? It's the most, like, depressing thing to think about, because you had a whole month of everyone trying their best and you didn't. Like, what? Like, this doesn't make sense. Anyways, I also wanted to say that I'm really so beyond grateful for the love and support that I get from you guys on here. Genuinely, it's not that it doesn't hit me, but I don't realize it. But recently, like last week, I went to Dallas for an iftar. My friend invited my friend group for iftar. And I went to Qadam lectures, and I went to Islamic Center of Irving, and I went to different places in Dallas, and the amount of you that I met, shocking. I was like, whoa, my entire demographic lives in Dallas. I need to move to Dallas. No, seriously, like, I'm not even kidding. 1 out of every 10 people was like, oh my God, I love your videos and I love your podcast. And I was like, oh my God, where are you guys spawning from? I was so shocked, but literally 99% of y'all were so sweet. I'm kidding. 100% of y'all were so beyond sweet. Like, I feel like being on YouTube, like starting YouTube and like moving my podcast to YouTube as well, has like grown this podcast so much, because I don't know, maybe a lot of people like to watch podcasts more. I personally like to watch podcasts rather than listen, or I kind of do both. Actually, I haven't been listening to podcasts recently, more like just lectures or nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Anyways, as you can see, I have no topic for today's video. I don't have a topic. I mean, today's podcast. Oops. I actually didn't even want to record this video wise, but someone said my podcasts are boring. Someone said my podcasts are boring if there's no video. I was like, oh, gotcha. No, I'm kidding. I really don't care about what anybody sees. But like I said, I enjoy watching podcasts. So I was like, let me keep it going. Anyways, there's no topic for today's episode. I literally just wrote down a list of things that I'm thinking about right now. And this is like a Ramadan chat, okay? So if you don't have anyone to chat with about Ramadan, I was almost at Ramadan. If you don't have anyone to chat with about Ramadan, like, chat with me, duh. And I feel like the vibes of the last podcast, which was like post-Tarawih chat, was just perfect. I wanted to record this in the car to give like a car conversation vibe. If you know, you know, from TikTok. But here I am in my room. So now that we've caught up about Ramadan, I hope everyone's Ramadan is going well. Like I said, I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've been thinking about, or some of my goals, kind of. Like I said, I don't want to share too much, because the more you keep private between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the better. I'm trying to learn that and do that while also trying to be beneficial to girls online, of course. Okay, I pulled up my list. This is so unorganized that I feel like it shouldn't be a podcast, but I hope it goes well. That's all I have to say. Okay, the first thing that I've been thinking about this Ramadan is that you are responsible for your life and your akhirah. No one else. Like, genuinely. And I think it's because I came across an ayah in the Quran that was saying that like on the day of judgment, mothers will like basically like drop their children. Like they don't care about their children, and children also don't care about their parents. It's like nobody cares about anything. And like obviously when you think of a mother, you don't think of like they'll never drop their baby, they'll never let go of their baby. They'd rather die than give up their baby. So just the fact that every man for themselves that day is an eye-opener, because if you're not like working on yourself, and if you're not trying to make sure that that day and your basically next life goes well, what are you doing? And I get this thought after having like a spiritual high, like either after Ramadan or alhamdulillah after I went to Umrah, or anytime I have a spiritual high, I just get this thought of like, wait, nothing else matters. Like nothing matters but getting closer to Allah and preparing for the next life. And so that's just something that's been like at the forefront of my mind, because it motivates me to get moving, you know? Literally, I feel like a lot of us go through life on autopilot, or like we get so we get so submerged, synonym, we get so engulfed, question mark, in what we think this life is supposed to be and what success is supposed to look like. Like we have to focus on our career, we have to focus on our like grind mode, you know what I mean? But throughout like this month, I've just been reading so many things in the Quran that is just literally outlining success for you. It would like ayahs that would just talk about how success is those who pray, those who give zakat, and those who do good, or those who are patient, those who spread good, and those who, you know what I mean? Like it's just listed out for us exactly what to focus on, and then we don't. And then on the day of judgment, no one's gonna help you. Shaitan gonna drop you. He'd be like, I didn't tell her to do anything. What were the analogies of shaitan? It was like, I gave her the address, but she drove there. Or I gave her the menu, but she ordered it. Or I gave her the pencil, but she wrote it. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not him. It's really not shaitan. At the end of the day, it was you. That's what's making me really reflect on I guess how I go about my everyday life. Like, what do I do every single day to where if I died that day, it would be like, not like a good death, but I would not regret it. You know what I mean? Anyways, top of the mind recently has been that I am the only one who can prepare myself for the day of judgment, which is such a scary day. It's literally such a scary day. The next thing that I've been thinking about a lot is how much of a difference worshiping Allah is by yourself versus trying to do it surrounded by people. And like, obviously there's good people out there, but even good people, it's like, if you have something on your mind, like, oh, I want to pray this much today or read this much Quran today, and then you hang out with someone else, that person doesn't even have to be bad, but just the fact that they're there means you now have to accommodate for them, and you're not going to do that act of worship anymore, or you might cut it short, or I don't know how to explain this in a way where it's not like, don't ever talk to anybody else again, but genuinely, you guys know I live alone, obviously, with my husband in Pennsylvania, but like alone as in there's no other girls. Like, I don't see girls for months at a time, just him. And so coming here and seeing all my friends again is great, and seeing girls is great, until it's not. Until I'm like finding myself not fulfilling goals that I wanted to do, or prioritizing maybe like more meaningless / fun talks or hangouts where I'm like, wait, what did that do? What did that do for me? You know what I mean? Like a conversation that we don't talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a waste of a conversation. So why am I putting myself in these situations, and how is it different from when I'm alone? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying like I'm the most righteous person alone. A lot of the times my friends make me more righteous because they motivate me to do good things, or like reading Quran together or praying together. You know, having that tarawih buddy or that Quran buddy is really nice. But truly, being alone has so many like benefits. And so I don't think we should look at it negatively of like, oh, I have no one to pray tarawih with, or I have no one to go to the masjid with. And I can't really speak on that because, alhamdulillah, I do have people. So it's definitely a different experience for those who don't. But definitely, there is good in the hard, okay? There is always goodness in hardship. And I feel like the goodness of being alone is that your ibadah is so much more like intentional and so much more, it just has more room to flourish, you know what I mean, with just you. So that's been something else I've been thinking about. What else? I just kind of like word vomited on this note. Okay, this one's big. Ramadan is the month of the Quran, right? Where the Quran got revealed. So I have tried to make it a point to connect with the Quran on another level this Ramadan. Not the level that I try to do every year, not the like panic of not reading enough or only reading during Taraweeh. I saw a lecture, which I will put in the description, where the sheikh was warning us, or like the listeners basically, about how we're not supposed to be reading just to read or just to get to the end of the page, basically. So a lot of us are like, oh my gosh, I'm so behind. I wanted to finish the Quran in this Ramadan. I need to read 20 pages before lunch. And so we read, but we read so fast and we have no idea what we're reading. The Quran is supposed to be understood. It's supposed to be like dissected, and it's supposed to be reflected on. And the fact that like I've spent so much of my life looking at it as numbers, how many pages can I read, or like can I finish the Quran, or like just beating myself up for not like being at a certain level or not being where other people are, you know, like seeing people like almost done with the Quran and I'm like so behind. I'm like, what? I need to stop saying like. I'm about to punch myself in the face. So one of the things that I really wanted to do this Ramadan is connect with the Quran. And that's because I was raised in a Quran family, alhamdulillah. Like I think my parents like really emphasized the importance of Quran, put us in classes. My mom's always asking us if we read Quran. I see my parents always reading Quran. May Allah reward them. But obviously, as you grow up, like as a teenager and maybe a little bit older, you just sometimes you lose that connection with the Quran, because when you don't start off by understanding the Quran, you kind of view it as something that you just recite or you just read, and you're supposed to read it, you're just supposed to. But when you grow up, and inshallah we all like realize this sooner than later, you realize that the Quran has actually been sent down to act upon it. So everything that we learn in the Quran, we should be acting upon, and we should also be reflecting on the Quran, right? Ramadan is the month of the Quran. It is the month where the Quran was revealed. And so it's just, I want to be someone that reads the Quran, first of all, every day, inshallah, and understands it. And so I think it's really been helping me by reading along in Taraweeh. And this is something I've done my whole life. And I didn't realize that other people don't really do it, like other masjids. But the masjid I grew up at, we always used to read Quran with the sheikh in Taraweeh. So obviously you cannot hold the Quran in the obligatory prayers like Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, the 5 daily prayers. But you can in Sunnah prayers, to my knowledge. And so we would read with the sheikh in Arabic. However, I recently learned that I can read the English as long as I don't move my lips, because you can't be speaking English in Salat. The language of the Salat is the Arabic. And so, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I have learned, that I am allowed to read the English along with the sheikh while he's reading the Arabic. And same thing in sujood. If you want to make dua in English in your head, that's fine, but don't like move your lips to the dua, you know what I mean? Like only if it's in Arabic. And so this is what I've been doing in Taraweeh, and it has been the absolute game changer of the century. I am it's a full-on story time for me in Taraweeh. Like it is no longer like a time where my brain just wanders away. It's no longer a time where my like body is hurting because I'm like, oh, when is it going to be over? I'm genuinely enjoying Taraweeh, and I'm enjoying connecting with the Quran because I'm finally reading it and I'm finally taking from it. And it has been the most like purifying process. Like, I genuinely feel like I'm finally Muslim. Like, I don't know how to explain that to you, and that kind of sounds like scary or sad to say, but I mean, how can I be Muslim without really understanding my book? You know, it's actually embarrassing that someone would ask me a question about the book and I wouldn't know it. And so I really want to connect with it on a very, very deep level. And I hope to take classes on tafsir and things like that. But as of right now, reading along with the sheikh, because obviously I don't understand Arabic, has been a game changer. Like, my connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it's his words, is so much stronger, alhamdulillah. And I've gotten a lot of questions because I have a question sticker that I'm going to go through later on in this episode, asking like, how did you get so close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How did you do this? How did you... First of all, you can never assume how close or how far someone is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Obviously from what's apparent, but that doesn't mean that you can judge intention. You are not allowed to judge someone else's intention in Islam. And obviously, like, what they were saying is not a bad thing. But I just don't want people to think that just because I talk about Islam in my podcast, or just because I try to make it the center of what I post on social media, does not mean I'm at a level that you're not at. You could very, very well be much more educated, much closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, much better, much more beloved in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's eyes than I. We just don't know. And that's why we have to focus on ourselves. And inshallah, we all become people who are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But basically, all I'm saying is that it has helped me feel closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because I'm like, I just feel like I'm starting to understand Islam more, and I'm starting to love it more, because like, there's so many little things. There's so many little things about the Quran that it's just actually meant to strengthen your faith, and it's meant for you to like flip through it, and it like speaks to you. It literally speaks to you. I know so many people who say like that they read Quran and it's just like that ayah was exactly what they needed to hear, or you know what I mean, or it's something, another ayah or another surah gave them so much clarity or so much peace in a time where they needed that. But yeah, I actually screenshotted a couple of ayahs today that like I'd be like almost, I'm not even kidding, I'm like almost smiling in salat sometimes, because it's like the cutest things, the most loving things that you just notice about the Quran and about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I can't help but smile. So I'm going to share some with you guys. Of course, I'm not going to really dissect the ayahs because I'm not educated enough to do that. However, that doesn't mean I can't reflect. We should all reflect on the Quran. Okay, one of them was in Surah Rum. And on the day the hour will arrive, the wicked will swear that they did not stay in this world, so the dunya, more than an hour. In this way, they were always deluded in the world. How much emphasis do we put on this life? Like on what job we're going to get, what husband we're going to get, what kids we're going to get, what friends, what hangouts we're going to go to, what clothes we're going to buy, what hijabs we're going to buy. 1 hour. The wicked will literally say that they were in this world for 1 hour. This dunya is so fleeting that if we really knew it and we really deeped it, it would not be hard to give up sin, because we'd be like, all right, I'll give it up. It's tough. I'll give it up. Or like, I'll accept that I didn't get this in this life. But because you know how fast it's going to be. You know how fleeting that this world is, you know? So just reading that in Salah is just so like, I don't know. Okay, my next one, I loved this one. This one was in Surah Luqman. Whoever fully submits themselves to Allah and is a good doer, then they have certainly grasped the firmest handhold, and with Allah rests the outcome of all affairs. That is so... I actually feel like I just got picked up and scooped up and just held. Yeah, I feel held. Because like, you know, like when you're trying to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you're trying to get better at your deen and self-improvement and all that, sometimes you feel alone, okay? Sometimes you feel alone a lot of the time, and you're just that different person. Like, when people around you are not wearing hijab and you choose to wear it, you're different. When people around you are not getting up to pray and you choose to pray, you're different. So feeling different will lead you to be feeling alone. But just to read that ayah, they have certainly grasped the firmest handhold. Like, you're set. Like, you don't need anybody else. And with Allah rests the outcome of all affairs. Does that not just make you want to take a back seat and just finally breathe? Okay, another one. In Surah As-Sajdah, they abandon their beds, invoking their Lord with hope and fear, and donate from what we have provided for them. I think this one is about like standing up to pray in the night, because you're abandoning your bed and you're invoking your Lord. And I feel like I go back and forth a lot with Islam, where I know like Allah is what you think of him as, so I want to be like hopeful that he's loving, and I mean obviously he is, but I'm just saying like I want to be a hopeful person, but I'm also a very fearful person, a very anxious person, to where I'm like, okay, I have, like, when I reflect on my bad deeds, for example, or how on the day of judgment you will watch like everything you did, like nothing is not recorded, like even things like the size of a mustard seed are recorded. So like it scares me to think of all the things that I don't even realize that I'm doing that are sins, or things that I just want to be forgiven for, inshallah. And then reading this ayah and seeing that it says invoking their Lord with hope and fear gave me such a reassurance of like, oh my gosh, I can do both. I can be hopeful and yet I can fear at the same time. Like, you see what I'm saying? So like struggles that you have, thoughts that you have, things that you have in your brain, reading the Quran, like it literally speaks to you. It's insane. It's insane. And I always like, I know what it's like to get to a point where astaghfirullah, but listening to the Quran, it doesn't move you. And that's a scary place to be. So I really, really, really want this Ramadan to change that for me, and to make like reading Quran, to make me literally fall to my knees. There was an ayah that said that we should literally fall in prostration when we like hear like things about Islam, basically, like when we're reminded. And I want that, you know? So if this podcast is anything, this is your sign to connect with the Quran, and by doing that you just need to read the meaning. Like, don't think you have to be a scholar. One thing about in Islam is you don't have to go through anybody to get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's just you and him. It's just the phone is just you and him. You're not on hold, you're not being transferred, it's you and him. And you feel like you don't have that relationship, but no one's stopping you. There is no one in between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except for you. That's scary. Like, that's scary, but that's also hopeful. Hope and fear. You see what I'm saying? Another one, no soul can imagine what delights are kept in store for them as a reward for what they used to do. Again, in Surah Sajda. I saw a lecture today. I was on the live for the Qalam lectures, and the Ustad was saying that this world is literally not big enough, not vast enough for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show his mercy or give us what like reward is promised. Like, this is not the land of reward, you know? It's literally not the land of reward, so you can't even get the reward that you're promised here. So I don't know, I just love reading. You guys know I love reading about Jannah. I love reading about like what's gonna happen later, inshallah. Especially when I feel like I'm falling too much into despair, because we're literally told in Islam we're not supposed to despair. We are not supposed to despair in Allah's mercy. We're not supposed to despair for those who have died in Allah's cause. Like, we're actually supposed to be very hopeful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has them. And speaking of, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect and provide for the people of Gaza. It is so heartbreaking that the quote-unquote ceasefire has ended. I mean, it never ended, but you know what I mean. It's despicable. It's actually despicable that happens in this world, but we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of the planners, and we know that we trust in his plan, and we know that he is the one who provides, and he is the one who punishes, and they will not go unpunished for what they do. So a reminder to make lots and lots of dua for the people suffering in Palestine right now and other people around the world. inshallah, our du'as are accepted and they are given the strength to get through these unimaginable times, like genuinely unimaginable times. And we are supposed to look at our brothers and sisters in those situations, and it is supposed to literally smack us into reality. Like, what are you complaining about? Yeah, definitely connecting with the Quran has been one of the biggest things in my mind. And that's because I saw a lecture that was saying that we're not supposed to like chant the Quran. It's not supposed to be chanted like poetry and like, oh, look how fast I can read it. Oh, look how much I read. Like, of course we should be working on our fluency and tajweed. We actually have to be doing those things. But to neglect the understanding part is something that I personally am trying not to do anymore in my life. So I want to do a good balance of both. And I think it's important not to stress out about the amount that you're reading, because you could be reading the whole Quran 5 times, and if you don't understand a thing, then it's not as valuable as you think it is. And so here's a reminder to balance your reading and your understanding this Ramadan, and not to set crazy goals in terms of how much you read if after Ramadan that's not sticking with you. You know what I mean? The goal of this month is to carry things with us throughout the rest of the year, inshallah. Okay, now I'm gonna do some Q&A/advice for Ramadan. I asked you guys on my Instagram to answer the question sticker with advice questions or Q&As, like any questions you guys had for me personally about Ramadan, and then also sharing stuff that has been getting you through Ramadan so that I can share it with you guys and we can all benefit from each other. Yay! Okay, to start off, somebody asked, how do you spend the last 10 days of Ramadan? Obviously, like I said, not going to share everything that I'm going to try to do just to keep things personal, but I do like to go to the masjid for tahajjud, which is like obviously the middle of the night, around 4 a.m. This year it's around 4 a.m. The masjid prays a night prayer together before Fajr. I do know that in Islam, if you pray Isha in congregation and if you pray Fajr in congregation, it is written as if you prayed the whole night. So that's something I really, really want to do, whether it's congregation as in my parents and I, or it's congregation as in like my masjid. But just getting that done, I feel like it's just going to give me so much like confidence that I'm doing a lot, or like I'm getting rewarded for a lot. And I just want to take advantage of the things that, like the little shortcuts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy provides for us. Like reading Ikhlas 3 times is like reading the whole Quran, because reading it once is like reading 1/3 of the Quran. There's just so many things like that I want to really take advantage of, if that makes sense. Because Allah's mercy sometimes feels just too good to be true. Like it's like, nah, that's not like reading the whole Quran, or nah, that's not, I didn't really pray all night. But take the reward where you can get it. You know what I mean? Another thing I want to do is just extra stuff. Everything that I'm doing now, I just want to do extra. I really, really want to catch Laylatul Qadr. I want to take all the benefits of that night. And one of the biggest things is that we just don't know what day it is. So we have to bring our A game every day. And we also don't even know if we started Ramadan on the right day. So it literally, to focus only on the odd nights is not smart, because what if it's an even night? You know what I mean? So just really taking advantage of every single night, cutting out distractions. I feel like that's going to be a tough one for me, because I grew up where Ramadan is a very social time of month and time of year, and so it's hard to like balance the socialness and the ibadah. So you're actually supposed to fully like cut out the socialness, and I feel like I'm going to have struggles with that, but inshallah, Allah makes me strong enough to put myself and my akhirah first, especially when it comes to situations that I don't want to be in, because you could easily lose out on the rewards of Laylatul Qadr or the last 10 days just simply by saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing, being around the wrong people. So it's really important that we don't risk that. Someone said their pre-Tarawih matcha is getting them through Ramadan. Same. I've been making matcha every day for Tarawih, or I get Dutch Bros, or obviously sometimes I'm so late I can't get anything, but seriously, it's been delicious. I did a matcha recipe on my Patreon if any of you guys are interested. What's your sleep schedule? Girls, it's been so messed up, seriously. I sleep at like 4, which is not good, because literally, like I said, if I'm trying to do tahajjud at 4 a.m., like that's exactly when I'm going to get tired, like, oh, it's time to sleep. I hope to sleep by like 1 or 2 and then take a nap, I guess. Alhamdulillah, I'm not like employed right now, so I can like sleep in the daytime. But Lord be with those of you who are in school or working right now, because I know that's going to be rough. Someone said, why can't I feel the Ramadan spirit everyone is feeling? I don't know, is there even a spirit to be felt? Honestly, first thing that I like noticed is don't compare yourself to other people, because they could be saying that they're feeling the Ramadan spirit, but they might just be exactly in your shoes right now. Second thing, Ramadan spirit is like, I feel like you have to compare life before Ramadan to life in Ramadan to notice the spirit. You know what I mean? So you're not going to like notice the spirit of Ramadan. Like, for example, a lot of people in the masjid, if you weren't there before Ramadan at the masjid and you didn't see a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like, basically that switch is considered the spirit of Ramadan. Like, people just trying to be better. Like, just the motivation of people trying to be better is the quote-unquote spirit of Ramadan. But not everybody feels like that joy or that like motivation. So don't think that if you don't feel it, oh, you're not doing well. No, like the whole point of Ramadan is you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your ibadah, your growth, your transformation. That's all you need to be feeling. Someone said, not wearing makeup has literally motivated me to be so on deen. Alhamdulillah. I don't know why though. I feel like it's so underrated and underspoken. What? I feel like it's not talked about enough how the way you present yourself gets you closer to your deen. Like, it's actually insane. Just knowing that every day you're making a conscious decision to not wear something or to wear something, for example, to wear hijab or to not wear makeup or to not wear tight clothes. I feel like making that conscious decision every day makes you more motivated in your deen, because you know you're doing that for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you know you're choosing the less desirable option, because obviously like everybody wants to show their hair and everybody wants to quote unquote look better, whether they think that's with showing their hair or not. So it seriously does so much to the mental when you decide to present yourself the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded you to present yourself as. So I'm happy that she's feeling like that. I quit wearing makeup for months, but it's getting so difficult, especially at family gatherings. I feel like the odd one out and I feel so insecure. How do you do it, Mihad? How do I do it? I'm fast and you're not. No, I'm kidding. Again, you cannot assume that somebody's got it under cover. Like, there have been so many times this Ramadan where I've struggled with makeup and I'm like, just a little bit. Just gonna do a little bit, or I just like everyone's gonna be wearing it, so like I'll just do it like natural ? There's been so many times like that this Ramadan that I've been like fighting my nafs, fighting myself, and I am surprised actually, because I've been winning, alhamdulillah. I have not touched a tube of mascara, which is insane to old Mihad, and even like Mihad last Ramadan, which gives me hope, because I just want to be different every single year from the year before. That's how I know I'm like on the right track, you know what I mean? So if last year I'm doing mascara and this year I'm not, that's like an insanely good thing. Like, I should be really proud of that. And I noticed actually my first week here, my first couple days here, I already started to think, okay, I'm invited to an iftar. It's literally in Dallas. I'm going to have to wear makeup. I'm going to have to. Everybody's wearing makeup. I'm going to have to do a little bit. And also, I was literally not praying, so I didn't have to worry about wudu or anything. So I was like, okay, no, like, for sure. But alhamdulillah, I stuck with it. And I did like cover acne and stuff like that, but I didn't do like anything flashy or colored or mascara or nothing. I actually went so natural that I was really kind of shocked with myself. But I think my hack for that was just to leave the house. Like, don't spend too long in the mirror. Like, get your hijab right and then leave the house, because I feel like a lot of the time when I struggle with how I look or whatever, it's just because I'm spending too long in the mirror. So I just left and I was like, well, I guess we got to deal with it for the rest of the day now. And I was really happy. I just felt like happy with myself. I felt happy with my deen. I felt like inshallah Allah's going to be happy with me. And that was just an amazing feeling that cannot be replaced, honestly. So I guess tips. Did she ask for tips? Be the odd one out. And I know it sucks, but be the odd one out. Like, in a room full of people not trying to get closer to their deen, get close to your deen. In a room full of people not wearing hijab, wear hijab. In a room full of people not reading Quran, read Quran. In a room full of people wearing full faces of makeup, don't wear makeup. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will start to make you feel more confident, inshallah, with dua and with patience. You just have to be uncomfortable first. Also, like we talked about earlier, the dunya is literally so fleeting. So, are we going to be uncomfortable here or there? I'd rather be uncomfortable here. Okay? Because right now, when everybody's looking different than you and you're the different one, later that difference is going to be a cause of like nur on your face on the Day of Judgment. How do you maintain consistency in religious practices after Ramadan ends? That's a good one. And that's because we should all be trying to take everything with us from Ramadan till after Ramadan, until the next one, inshallah. May Allah allow us to reach the next Ramadan and the end of this one, inshallah, and Laylatul Qadr. I think small goals. I think setting small goals is just so beneficial because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves the consistent deeds, even when they're small. So I think setting the small goals of like, instead of, oh, I need to read like this many pages, it's like, I'm going to read 1 page a day and I will never stop. Like, that's your intention, basically. Or like, for example, in your salats, if you improved one thing, maybe your wudu is better, or maybe your focus is better, or maybe you pray more on time, or maybe you don't miss a single one anymore. Keeping that throughout the year is like so beneficial. So setting small goals will help you maintain consistency. And I guess having like check-ins with yourself, because Ramadan is the ultimate check-in. So if you don't have that throughout the year, if you don't have check-ins with yourself, if you don't surround yourself with deen, like, unfortunately it's gonna go away. So I guess surround yourself with deen, check in with yourself, and keep setting those small goals. Okay, it looks like a lot of people are asking about staying productive during menstruation. So when you're on your period in Ramadan, I have a hot take. Like, I think being on your period in Ramadan is such a blessing. It's such a mercy from Allah that you don't have to fast during that time and you don't have to pray. And there's so many other forms of ibadah that you can do while on your period. It's not just prayer and fasting. Obviously, those are really good, but you're not choosing to not do it. You know, you're not among the people who are literally not fasting because you don't want to, which is literally very bad. Or you're not praying because you don't want to. You're not missing prayers. You're literally fine. You're safe, actually. And you made the intention to pray and fast. So inshallah, you get the reward for that. But one thing I did when I was on my period during Ramadan is I still showed up to the masjid. I can't lie. I still showed up to the masjid and I still read Quran as long as I wasn't reciting, and I didn't touch Qurans without English translation. But I just kept up with that, like surrounding myself with Islam, if that makes sense. And then also I always encourage learning about Islam, and so doing that on your period is very beneficial because you get so motivated. And like, think about how motivated you are at the end of your period. You're like, oh my god, I literally cannot wait to pray. Like, do you think you would feel that if you didn't have your period? No, you'd probably be like going downhill the whole month. But now, like, because you had that break and because you had that reset, you get to come back stronger. So don't think about it as a setback, because you didn't do anything wrong. You know, you didn't miss something you were supposed to do. So my advice is focus on the other forms of ibadah that you can do, especially dhikr. I want to get better at dhikr so bad. I just want it to be always on my tongue. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves dhikr. So go look at all of the things of the rewards of certain dhikr, or how many to say, or the morning adhkar or the evening adhkar, like all that stuff. I don't think you will feel that that absence in your heart, inshallah. And don't be hard on yourself in that week. You literally cannot pray or fast. Like, that's not your fault. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not fault you for that. But to like completely disconnect is not the best thing ever at all, of course. And I think me trying to stay connected has made it easier for me to bounce back now that I can pray, because I didn't completely fall off, you know? Okay, I think I'm going to end the podcast here. It's getting a little long. Actually, I'm so surprised that it went well and that I talked for this long. It's currently 2:30 a.m. So sorry for the monotone talking, or sorry if I gave the vibe that I didn't want to like make a podcast, because I did. Like, this was fun. And I hope this benefited you in some way. If you can benefit us in the comments, please do so. We love learning from each other wherever you're at. I'm meeting you where you're at. You're meeting me where I'm at. And inshallah, we will end up in Jannah all together. I love all of you for the sake of Allah, and I will see you guys in my next episode. Take advantage of these last 10 days, inshallah. Learn about it and make dua for me, please, please, please. Salam.